We start, though, with significant developments in Liverpool's search to replace Jurgen Klopp as manager. The Feyenoord head coach, Arne Slot, is now a leading contender, while the Sporting manager, Ruben Amorim, is no longer in the frame. All right, let's get more on this. Let's speak to our senior reporter, Melissa Reddy, who joins us now. Melissa, very good evening. How strong is Liverpool's interest in Slot?
I would say it's the strongest it's been for any of the candidates linked with becoming Jurgen Klopp's successor. And that's because of the club's actual position. Now, since Klopp's announcement, there's been a lot of noise about who could replace him. But that's come largely from the media and the fans. As we know, Xabi Alonso was the outstanding candidate, but that's for any top team that was looking at a manager, not necessarily in terms of Liverpool's criteria. I think because of how much he's achieved in a short space of time, that made him an outlier, somebody that you don't need to really follow the rules for. But there was never going to be a clear run at him. And importantly for me, Liverpool had actually never said anything themselves about Alonso. Now, when we run through the other candidates, Ruben Amorim, after Alonso agreed to stay on at Bayer Leverkusen, he was the biggest name, the hottest name around. Yet when we engaged the club about Amorim, they would always say he is an option. He is a contender, a leading contender, not the leading contender, not the top one, not the preferred one. And the language with Slot is a little bit different. They have accepted that he is a very, very strong option to replace Klopp. He does meet all the club's criteria. And the only reason it isn't a foregone conclusion is because Feyenoord desperately want to keep him. And there's also other European clubs looking at him. Remember, the managerial landscape is changing quite dramatically this summer. So Liverpool know they're not the only ones talking to him, but the club do maintain he is a very strong candidate.
OK, Melissa, you say that Slot ticks the criteria for Liverpool. Tell us why Slot would fit the slot at the club.
It's the way he's transformed Feyenoord's style. They're very full throttle, aggressive. They're adept at turning defense into attack. They actually have the best defense in the Eredivisie and the second best attacking metrics. So very, very good team, exemplary at the counter press. And when you look at how they play and the similarities with Liverpool, also his preferred formations, he uses the 4-2-3-1 and the 4-3-3 quite heavily, just like Liverpool. So you could see the symmetry there and how he would fit in. Then there's also the matter of success. Last weekend, he led them to the Dutch Cup. But more importantly, last season, he delivered their first league title after 6 campaigns. Just the feeling around Feyenoord has changed. They're very exciting. There's a good bond with the fan base, a good feeling and energy around the city. And then you look at how he's outperformed his budget in terms of his rivals, and then you'll see things that have appealed. Now, speaking about the language around candidates, and I think it was also interesting that some of the higher profile names like Julian Nagelsmann, Liverpool were very cold on him from the outset. He was a name that was linked with the job because of his achievements and where he's worked before and his playing philosophy. And then you also looked at Roberto De Zerbi, who, Pep Guardiola calls the most influential manager of this generation. And even there, the feeling from the club was that it was always an unlikely avenue for them to go down. Obviously, all these people in the mix because of their pedigree. Yet, like I said, the conversation around Slot has been different to everyone else that we've had.
And as you touched on earlier, it's different to the conversation around Ruben Amorim. So is that it for Amorim now?
Yeah, sources say he is no longer in the frame at this stage. They don't really expect that to change. And as we know, he is of high interest to West Ham, who he has been having discussions with. And I think once that came out, that he is in conversation with West Ham, that really provided a sense of clarity that he isn't a leading candidate for Liverpool.
Melissa Reddy, our senior reporter, with all the context around Arne Slot and what Liverpool may or may not do. Melissa, thank you very much for the moment.